Hey traders, if you are interested in scalping, I've got something good for you. I've got the 9 best trading indicators that we use in our live scalping room. Check it out. So, as many of you know, we have finally gotten our live scalping program up and running, and it has been a blast. It has been just an awesome thing. It's been a big value add to what we do in terms of our other trading rooms and strategies. But a lot of questions come up anytime you present a new strategy. And one of the biggest questions is, what are the best indicators or the best tools to use when scalping? And so I want to talk about our sort of best practices, if you will, of how we approach scalping in our trading room, and maybe that will help you in your scalping as well. So a couple of things, first of all, to think about with scalping. Okay, with our scalping rollout, I envision this as being sort of a 6-month process. There is a lot to scalping's interesting because it's the easiest strategy in the world. You'd want to buy when everybody else is buying and short when everybody else is selling, but the actual implementation of that can be pretty overwhelming, and there's a lot of tools that involve order flow tracking and price action that a lot of traders are not familiar with. And so I do envision this sort of being a 6-month educational journey and a 6-month rollout period to where this scalping program of ours gets to where I want it to be. But just so that you understand that rollout, we're going to start with our Tastyworks trading platform because, number one, that's where most of us are trading on, and number two, it's the easiest way to get started. But Tastyworks does not have all of the tools that we want for scalping, and it is also more expensive than a place like NinjaTrader. So we're going to start small, and we're going to get a basis for understanding how scalping works, and then we'll move to, I think, a more sophisticated, a little bit harder to understand, but better platform. We're going to add in tick strike. We're using the audible feed, and I'm going to talk about that today. That's one of the indicators that we use. And then again, during the next 6 months, I'm going to try to merge as many of you that feel comfortable onto the NinjaTrader platform, because that's where we can get access to footprint charts and all of the different studies that I like to use on footprint charts. So I do feel like footprint charts are the best way to scalp. People again talk about, what are you looking for, and can you give comments? The live Zoom feed that we put out every day that we scalp in this program, there's no commentary. It's just the order flow. You're just seeing my buys and my sells coming in. And a couple of our members that are a part of our live trading room, where all we do is talk all day long, said, well, where's the commentary? Where's the analyses? And I said, listen, we do 100 to 120 scalps a day, and the commentary is going to be the same on every single one of them. When the orders are coming in and buyers are showing up, we go long. When sellers show up, we go short. It's the same for every single trade. Well, how do you know that? Well, that's order flow and price action. That's really all you should look at when you're scalping, is order flow and price action. And I don't know a better way to do that than footprint charts. There are some other ways that this information here is graphically represented, but it's the same information. It's, where is the price? What's going on the bid side, what's going on the ask side, and it gives you the most, what I call, depth, breadth, and transparency that you can get inside of the marketplace. But the problem with footprint charts is twofold. Number one, most traders aren't familiar with them. They don't know how to read them. So if you are in our trading room, you know I put out a pretty detailed manual on training on how footprint charts are read and how we utilize those. It's going to take a while for everybody to sort of absorb that information. And then number two problem is that they're not easily accessible unless you're on the right trading platform. Not every mainstream broker is going to provide footprint charts for you. So because of that, we're going to move towards this. This is our goal, where we're moving towards. But where we're at right now with using Tastyworks, there are 9 indicators that I believe are the best for giving you the best shot at success in scalping. Okay, number 1 is VWAP. That's the volume weighted price, average price. Number 2 is just volume, and it's just the normal volume. There's a lot of different volumes, indicator type things that you can put on a chart. This is just the up and down volume. And then there's the parabolic SAR. SAR stands for stop and reverse. It's a reversal trigger, that indicator that gives us an idea when trends are going to stop and reverse. ADX, which is the average directional movement index. We'll talk about that. ADX works as a companion indicator with the parabolic SAR. Those two indicators are a companionship that work hand in hand. We use tick strike, which is audible order flow. We use the S&P volume, up and down volume. That's ticker symbol VOLSPD with a $ in front of it. Now, I will say this with some of these ticker symbols. If you're using different brokers other than Tastyworks, sometimes they do have their own unique tickers for these, but you can find them. Just look for the S&P 500 up and down volume. Okay, and then the advanced decline, or the AD line, as we sometimes refer to it, it's the ticker symbol $ADSPD. And then tick, which is just the number of up and down ticks at the last price. So whether that's the bid or the ask, the question is, was the tick up or was the tick down? So where are ticks moving? Are they moving up or down? And then last but not least, number 9 is the trend. It's sometimes referred to as the ARMS index because the gentleman that invented it, his last name is ARMS. But the ARMS index, or the trend, is a good indicator to tell us if we are reaching an overbought or an oversold condition in the marketplace. So let's talk about each one of these individually here and get into that. Okay, so starting with VWAP. Now, this blue line right through here, this is the VWAP. This is the volume weighted average price. I think all of us understand what average price is, right? If something trades as high as $30 a share and as low as $20 a share, the average price, of course, would be $25 a share, right? That makes sense. But volume weighted average price puts an emphasis on the volume in that trade. So yeah, maybe something traded as high as 30 and as low as 20, but let's say that it went up 5 points on $100,000 worth of volume, and then it went down an equal amount with $200,000 or $300,000 worth of volume. That would be weighted more exponentially. So volume weighted average price, that's a big thing for traders. My time on Wall Street, when you were trying to fill large block orders for institutional clients, you would be judged quite heavily on where you filled in relationship to the VWAP. If you were trying to short, you wanted to be able to get a short position fully filled above the VWAP. If you were trying to fill a long position, you wanted to get it filled below the VWAP. So there's a whole entire trading strategy right here that I really love for scalping, using the 1-minute charts and the VWAP as an entry and exit target. I'm going to go into that right now. You can take a look at that here. The rules are pretty straightforward on it, but it's a nice program because You don't have to take a lot of scalps in a day, and it has fairly tight risk management. But you need a moving market. You need a market that's really moving for that to work. But one of the things that we use is VWAP, the volume weighted average price number. That does tend to sometimes act as a magnet for consolidation and demarcation points in a trading cycle. Above is usually bullish, below is usually bearish. So we're looking at VWAP on an intraday basis. We're also looking at the volume. Now again, I said that there's a lot of different volumes that you can put on a chart. This volume is just the very plain Jane vanilla sort of normal volume that you see in most brokerage account charts, and that's just up and down volume. That's all we're looking at there. So we want to see, what's the volume? What's happening? Is it buying volume, or is it selling volume? And is the volume increasing, or is the volume decreasing? Okay, so we use volume, and that's just the up and down volume. We use the parabolic SAR. SAR stands for stop and reverse. These little green dots right here, that's the parabolic SAR, right along with the VWAP line right there. And they do a fairly good job of predicting turning points or reversals. They don't necessarily allow you to catch all the tiny little moves. For scalping, they're not going to give you, on a minute per minute chart, the ability to jump in and out of positions, but they do help us pinpoint large reversals in trading. Now, the companion indicator that goes right along with the parabolic SAR is the ADX, or the average directional movement index. ADX is just what everybody refers to it as. It's a little bit hard to see right here, but that's what I've got circled right here. And the key thing with ADX is that it helps us understand really if we've got a trend or not. What do we need when we scalp? Guys, we don't want this, right? We do not want this. You can see right here this very low number on the ADX. We don't want just a very calm market. We want big moves, right? We want big moves. That's what we're looking for as a scalper. So the ADX number right here, you can see it over on the log here on the right hand side, above 25. If the ADX is rising and it's above 25, it means we've got an indication that a trend might be developing, so that we might have an opportunity to trade and scalp. Anything between 25 and 50, well, that's even better. That's really where the opportunities for scalping start to appear. And anything between, again, 25 and 50 here on your ADX, that's going to be a moderate trend. And if you can get above 50, anywhere between 50 and 100, that's a very, very strong trending day. The higher the ADX is, the more valuable the parabolic SAR is going to be to us. So those two things do work hand in hand. They do work as a companion indicator. Tick strike. Now, tick strike is audible order flow. We talked about footprint charts just a moment ago. Tick strike is just the audible version of that. It is a audible feed of being able to listen to order flow, listen to breakouts, and correlations. And so here's just a quick example. This is an extreme example. You're not going to hear this all the time in tick strike, but this is Bitcoin breaking out to new all-time highs back in the little bit ago. So there you go. It's a little bit like a Geiger counter. You can kind of hear that happening back in the background. And for me, as a scalper, that's useful because I don't want to sit in front of my computer all day long. Some scalpers won't do a bathroom break. They won't take a break to eat or drink. And that's not a really good lifestyle. So the tick strike helps me in the background be able to do other things, and maybe work out and do my rower or something like that. And if I hear that go off, I know that there might be some action taking place and something that I can maybe jump on. So we use tick strike. That's an audible order flow that is flowing in the background of my Zoom feed as we are scalping. Now, the S&P up and down volume, this is really something that is critical for our success. This obviously talks about the S&P 500, what's going on in that index, and is the volume, are the indices overall, those 505 underlines, I know it's the S&P 500, but there's 505 in there right now. Are they moving up or are they moving down? And it really helps us understand the breadth of the marketplace and whether or not we have divergence taking place. You guys know that a lot of the indices out there are cap weighted. And so you've got maybe a handful. In some cases, in some indices, you've got 5 stocks. You know, if you're looking at the tech sector and FANG stocks and the NASDAQ, you got maybe 5 stocks that are maybe making up 80% of the volume. And so you want to see what the overall participation in the market is. That's great that the market's moving up or down, but what's the level of participation? You can see this particular day right here, we had a huge, there's a tick strike alert going through right there. We had a huge spike, bullish spike going into the close. Pretty much everything was going up. So again, this helps us. Once we get into a trend, once we get into a trade, we say, okay, we got enough volume here and things seem to be trending in the up. We're going to go long this position. How long do you stay in it? Well, that certainly gives you a lot of confirmation, right? If you know that everything across the board is shooting higher. So that's the S&P up and down volume. The advanced decline, or the AD line, as we like to refer to it as, this again gives us the takes a look at the 505 stocks that are in the S&P 500, and it tells us the net sum of advancing stocks minus the number of declining stocks. Okay, so again, we've got 505 stocks, 505 underlines in the S&P 500 right now. So if our number here on the advanced decline number is 250 or greater, if it's 250 or greater, then we've probably got a bullish trend going on. If it is 300 or greater, we have a definitive bullish trend going on. Okay. Likewise, if the number is below 250, that's bearish, and if it's below 300, negative 300 rather, negative 250 and negative 300, that's very bearish. Okay, so plus 300, very bullish trend. Minus 300 is a very bearish trend, but those are the golden days. When we get a plus 300 or a minus 300, that is what we call a trending market, and that's what we want as scalpers, is a trending market. Okay. The next one that we look at is the tick. Now, I use TICK. There are several tick indicators that you can use. This is the NYSE, and it's just a relationship of stocks ticking up versus down on their last trade. So it could be the bid, it could be the ask price, but it's just basically telling you where the tick is moving. Is it moving higher or is it moving lower? And it's literally down to a tick. So it is the most minutiae type indicator that you can really see in the marketplace. And of course, that is great for scalping because we want the shortest term stuff that we can look at. In the tick, that's probably the shortest term that we can look at. Now, the trend, which is sometimes called the ARMS index because the fellow that invented it, his last name is ARMS, but it basically helps us understand overbought and oversold conditions in the marketplace. Now, for me, the trend is one of the most powerful indicators that we can use. Basically, it just compares the advance decline issues, so the advancing issues versus the declining issues, and we've talked about that already. We can see that with the 80 line on the S&P 500, but it takes the advancing and declining issues, and it compares it along with the advancing and declining volume. Now, this is huge because it now is measuring two things for us. It's measuring what we call in the marketplace velocity. Velocity is the number or the ratio between advancing underlines and declining underlines, and the mass. And the mass is the volume. So it is measuring velocity and mass. Now, the awesome thing about the trend is that it is a true leading indicator. It is an absolutely true leading indicator. It is so hard. Guys, most indicators use historical data. And because of that compilation of historical data, they are lagging indicators. And they don't work for day trading. They just simply don't work. I see so many people day trading or scalping or doing zero DTE trades with MACDs and histograms. And I'm like, come on, guys. These are lagging indicators. They're not going to give you what you think you're going to get out of them. This is the trend is a true leading indicator. Now, the numbers that we use on the trend here is below 0.50. So if it's below 0.50, which is not even on the chart here on this particular day, it would be overbought. The market would be considered overbought. Above 3.0 would be considered oversold. And 1, right in here, 1 would be considered a balanced market. Okay, so again, below 0.50, way down here would be overbought. Above 3 is going to be oversold, and 1 is considered a very balanced market. So again, this is a very powerful tool because it is a leading indicator. All right, guys, so I hope that stuff has helped you. Just a couple of little tidbits on our scalping program. Again, it's been a blast to do it, and we do schedule it for every Tuesday and Thursday. A couple things to note: if you want to be a part of our scalping program, we will do it every Tuesday and Thursday with a couple of qualifiers. Number one, market dependent. The market is not always... Look, listen, in our live trading room, every Monday, every Wednesday, every Friday, we're doing a zero DTE trade, okay? You lock it in, it's gonna happen. We're going to do one. That's not how scalping works. Sometimes you wake up, you've cleared your calendar, you're ready to scalp all day long, and there's just no movement in the marketplace. And so we do schedule every Tuesday and Thursday to scalp all day long. I usually start sometimes 2 hours before the market opens up, the cash markets, because sometimes we'll have economic news that comes out an hour or even earlier before the cash markets open up. But sometimes, guys, we're just going to have a day where it just doesn't make sense. There's just nothing happening in the marketplace. We can't get any good scalps in. And if you can't get at least 2 points out of a scalp on the E-minis, probably not worth our risk-reward ratios that we want to shoot for, and it makes sense to probably pass. So it is sort of market dependent, even though we are scheduled to do it every Tuesday and Thursday. It's also Scott dependent. It's dependent on me. Sometimes I'm traveling. Sometimes I have family obligations. Sometimes I have to mow the lawn. I don't know. There's going to be things that are going to come up, and I just can't be tied to my computer all day long every single day. I love you guys, but sometimes I need a break too. So it's not going to be as consistent as our zero DTE is, but again, you only need a couple of good scalping days a month to make it very nice in terms of potential rewards. Okay, so just be aware of that. A couple other things that I wanted to remind you of as well. For enrollment on it, it is $95 for the standalone program for scalping. If you just want to scalp with us, that's $95. Now, we do have a free option. I say free. You see the asterisk there. If you are already a member of the AST program, the Asymmetric Trading System, and the live trading room, the zero DTE trading room, then it is free to you. Now, I say free It's going to be $3.48 a month. Okay, we have our Discord server. We have LaunchPass, which manages the subscriptions, and we have Stripe, which manages the database and the payment system. And all three of those combined charge me $3.48 a month to have a subscription active. So I'm just passing that on to you. It's just a hard cost for me. So I call it free. It's free with an asterisk. It's going to cost you $3.48 a month. Okay, so if you're already a member of both of those rooms, I'll show you how to get access for free. Okay, it is the best value, I believe, to add the asymmetric trading system and the live trading room together and get the scalping for free rather than pay the $95, because I'll just be very transparent with you, between the three software programs that I am going to be using, the footprint charts and the other things that go with that, I spend about $640 a month on that software, which obviously you won't need because I will have. And also there's a lot of education. I just put together a huge educational booklet on footprint charts and how to read them, okay? And that all comes in there as well. So I feel like either way it's probably worth $95 pretty easily, but it's even a better value at $3.48. So you can figure out which one works best for you. There's the link right there for the standalone enrollment of $95. If you are already a member of our live trading rooms, our AST program and our ZRDTE room, if you're a member of both, you can email me here at chiefchangecatalyst@gmail.com, put free scalping in the subject line, give me your full name, your email that you use to sign up with both of those programs, and your username inside of each Discord server. I'll email you the link for the free sign up. Okay, so that is the overview of our indicators. I hope that was helpful for you guys, and we will see you in the trading room. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you guys that are scalpers and what you're doing and what's working for you and how it's going. So please touch base. Let's chat a little bit. I always love getting comments from you guys, and I try to answer every single one of them. Thanks so much, guys. I really appreciate you. Oh, wait, one thing. I forgot to show you my screen setup. So this is the screen setup that I use to scalp off of, and it's got everything that we've talked about here. It's got, I'm using 2-minute charts, and I've got the parabolic SARs there. I've got the VWAP right here. I've got the up-down volume right here. The ADX is right in here. I've got my up and down volume right here. I've got my advancing decline numbers right here. There's the trend and there's the tick. So this is sort of the setup that I use. Also, for those of you that are new to scalping on Tastyworks, if you go to your trade tab and you click the active link, you can go and you can turn your safety off. Okay, turn the safety off, and then change your type of order from a limit order to a market order. And all you got to do is click up here. Click on the bid, or you click on the ask. Click on the ask, you're going to buy. You click on the bid, you're going to short. So we always like to say it is a loaded gun. You just click on that and your order is done. So it allows you very quickly to scalp in and out. But anyway, that's sort of the setup that I use. Hopefully that helps you guys. Take care. Let's talk soon.